It's the day before Christmas, and all through the White House, panic is stirring along with corruption and chaos. Okay, my rhyming game needs some work. And speaking of needing some work, Trump's Department of Justice is begging lawyers to give up their holiday to participate in the obstruction of Epstein justice. And I have all the scandalous details for you next. I'm Dan, and welcome to another Occupy Democrats Report. To get all of our updates on Donald Trump's corruption and chaos, please hit that subscribe button. Let's begin with a supercut that shows the incompetence and bias coming from our top law enforcement agency with regards to the Epstein files. And then I'll share a CNN exclusive that exposes the lump of Christmas coal they are trying to force on lawyers in their effort to scrub the files before releasing them.
Tell me about your motion to pursue legal action against the Department of Justice and Pam Bondi with the power of the U.S. Senate.
Joe, they're not doing their job. The law we passed, we had every senator, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, and every Congress member but one said the whole thing, the whole fucking thing. Not what justice determines, not what Bondi determines, not what Kash Patel determines, but everything.
I think we all know why the Justice Department waited until literally 2 days before Christmas to dump this Epstein material. So much of this just was left without actually being investigated. All of these claims, all these tips. I mean, there is so much in there. I mean, there are accusations against President Trump. And did they ever follow up with it? Or are they just calling it false and unfounded without any details at all?
We have some news right now. The White House is taking over public relations from the Justice Department regarding the Epstein files because there's all this chaos out there. White House officials seemingly are upset. And while there is just complete chaos marring the Trump administration, according to Axios, White House officials are now tweeting from the Justice Department to make it an account that explicitly defends Donald Trump in this whole Epstein file situation.
First, let me say the law was written very clearly, and it did not allow all these redactions, all these blacking out of everything. It did not say you can dribble them out over a period of months. These guys are full of shit.
So they messed up again. We have figured out how to unredact some, not all, but some of the redactions in the Epstein files. So the people who did the redactions are so incompetent that they used the wrong format for properly redacting some of the files. So what you can do, and you can go try this out for yourself, you will copy, say, a paragraph with redactions and then just paste it in a Word document and it'll show up unredacted because they are that stupid. But I'm kind of glad that they're so stupid. Go try it out.
And now for that lump of coal the DOJ is dropping on its lawyers. The CNN headline of the Caitlin Pullins article reads, "Exclusive! Justice Department scrambling to find holiday volunteers to redact Epstein files." Internal DOJ email says, "The Justice Department's leadership asked career prosecutors in Florida to volunteer over the next several days to help redact the Epstein files in the latest Trump administration push toward releasing the hundreds of thousands of photos, internal memos, and other evidence around the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The email raises the possibility of more Epstein files being released over the coming days, including the Christmas and New Year's holidays. It also underlines the public and political backlash the Justice Department has faced since the deadline passed on Friday to release all documents in the federal government's possession, as mandated by an act of Congress calling for transparency around Epstein files. The Justice Department acknowledged it had not gotten through redacting many of the files by Friday and has continued to release documents this week. The Christmas week request from a top career prosecutor in the U.S. Attorney's Office attempts to entice volunteer attorneys to work on the files now in exchange for days off later. It's also possible that the call for volunteers frustrates busy career Justice Department employees after a year of departures and firings across the ranks by Trump administration leadership, as well as several in-court incidents that have hurt the department's reputation in the legal community. The Justice Department was using hundreds of lawyers at its headquarters, especially national security specialists, to process the files over the past month, picking up a project the FBI and other agencies had worked on in slivers previously. The Tuesday request appears to seek to add lawyers to the project more than a month after Congress passed the Transparency Act and President Donald Trump signed it into law. The redaction guidelines provided by the department have been described by some sources familiar with them as being confusing or overly cautious on what is being redacted, and the department also failed to meet the deadline, only releasing on Friday a portion of the files, many of which had already been in the public domain. Overnight, the department released nearly 30,000 more records that contained many more new documents, such as a prosecutor email noting Trump's name on flight logs found in the criminal investigation of Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, and the paperwork documenting investigative subpoenas and interviews in 2019 through 2021, when Maxwell was convicted for trafficking. Those are just the highlights. For the full story, visit CNN.com. Because the DOJ is not following the law enacted by Congress, and because they're acting like Trump's personal attorney, of course there will be chaos and corruption under his direction. In the race to be the word of the year, redacted is making a tremendous last-minute charge. In fact, it's on the verge of passing Trump-adjacent words like lawless leader, pedophile protector, and authoritarian asshat.